Welcome to Dose of Dumb. How Dumb Hurts You, Episode 1. Here we explore why you pay higher electricity rates to enrich, of all people, coal mine owners. You know what? It's cold out here. I should have used a green screen. Let's go to the studio. It's warm. Sorry, okay, Dose of Dumb. Yes, today's Dose of Dumb looks into this administration mandating that coal-fired power plants remain operational, and this, wait for it, forces you, the electricity ratepayer, to foot the bill for keeping coal mining companies in business. Yes, Trump is forcing power companies to keep old, money-sucking, polluting, and very crucially unneeded coal-fired power generating plants in operation. The result, well, how should I put this? I have to give it careful thought. It's nuanced. Your host. You're the Trump administration's chew toy. Money departs your wallet to pay for higher electricity rates because coal mine owners. Welcome to the golden age. Well, to be clear, this golden age thing, it's not for you. How did this happen? You being host, I mean. Let's get into that. This drawing is of Thomas Edison's coal-fired power station in 1882, the Pearl Street Station. Yes, it's year 143 since the nation's first coal-fired electricity generating station began operation in New York City. Thomas Edison's coal-fired Pearl Street Station in Manhattan energized a rather pathetic few square blocks of the city. Yep. 143 years of using coal-fired power generation on Earth. And one would think we could do better by now. We can do better, and we do. In more rational nations, cheaper and non-polluting renewables are the source of new power generation. Indeed, best global estimates are that 80 to 90% of net new power generation capacity in 2025 came from renewables, largely solar and wind. Here are some photos of solar, wind, and grid-scale battery installations. There are no pipelines pushing endless flows of oil or gas. There are no coal-filled railroad cars stretching for miles to feed coal into the system. Energy arrives from the sun, a supply chain immune to spurious disruption, nor is it owned and controlled by greedy corporations. So who orders these polluting, money-losing, unnecessary coal-fired power plants to remain operating? Well, directly this order came from the Department of Energy, headed by longtime fossil fuel executive Chris Wright. But really, of course, the order comes from Trump in the form of an executive order. It's rather perverse. Let's take a look at the executive order as applied to the poster child for this policy, the J.H. Campbell Generating Facility in Michigan. Here's a swell photo. Note the huge pile of coal. Trump's executive order of April 2025 mandates that the DOE actively prevent further coal plant closures and exempt such plants from EPA emissions rules on mercury and other metals. In support of this lunacy, the Department of Energy, the DOE, conjured up an emergency, claiming the electricity from the J.H. Campbell plant, already slated for closure, was crucial to supply-demand. Now, surprisingly, this isn't true. There is no emergency. Michigan state regulators, Michigan's grid operator, the Mid-Continent Independent System Operator, and the plant's owner, Consumers Energy, say the plant isn't needed. But our current federal government, while supposedly supporting states' rights and independence, told Michigan to pound sand. More evidence for the falsity of the emergency claim is provided by the fact that the plant hasn't operated at full capacity since ordered to remain open. So, where's the emergency? Now, Consumers Energy, the owner of the plant, is not the culprit. During the plant's operating life, Consumers Energy spent $800 million on pollution control equipment. They passed those costs on to the consumer, of course. It was also their plan to shut it down and place employees in new positions within the company and repurpose the site. But since we now live in a Stalinist-style directed economy, the Trump administration ordered the plant to continue wheezing along. You might think of it as a dirty New Deal or a coal-fired mandate. I think mandating new coal-fired steam locomotive production is next on the administration's agenda. Who is harmed by the continued operation of the J.H. Campbell generating station? Is it victimless? No, the victims are local residents who were pleased to learn that the plant was closing. They were glad to see its pollution go. Now I hear the outcry from those saying, "But Mike, you blithering idiot, didn't the pollution control measures solve the coal-fired plant's pollution issues?" Well, pollution controls, so-called scrubbers, do a lot to reduce emissions. Such plants still emit carbon dioxide, mercury, and fine particulates in the 2.5 micrometers range. These microscopic particles increase the incidence of heart disease, asthma, and low birth rate in newborns. But, who wants healthy babies? That's so woke. So yes, human health is harmed by continuing operation. Further harm comes to the homes and businesses whose electricity rates will be increased to pay the cost of keeping the plant in operation. The cost to keep this relic operating is over $600,000 per day. Yes, per day. Now that cost will be passed on to the electricity-consuming customers. The administration's pointless cost to keep the plant open will be passed on by Consumers Energy to the grid operator, Mid-Continent Independent Systems Operator, who will pass the costs on to consumers in increased electricity rates. Clearly, it's the golden age. Not least, this harms the nation. While smarter countries are closing their last coal-fired power plants and moving to wind, solar, and grid-scale battery storage, our backward nation has the stated policy of burning more coal, regardless of whether it makes economic sense for power companies, certainly regardless of the harm to the health of U.S. citizens. But golly, who wants healthy citizens? That's crazy. Now, who benefits? The CEOs of coal companies and oil companies were and are major contributors to Trump's campaign and the Republican Party. They didn't do that just for fun. It was a transaction. The story outlined here is the payout for that financial support. Do you think one coal-fired power plant is trivial for a coal mine owner? Well, no. A plant like Campbell plant requires about 14,000 to 15,000 tons of coal per day. That translates into something like 120 to 140 coal gondola cars, like the ones pictured here. So that is significant income for a coal mine owner. Of course, you see endless trains like this carrying photons to solar farms every day. Oh, wait, no, you don't see that. Sorry. Our president benefits because he kept his promise to his campaign donors to keep coal-fired power plants operating. So the coal companies will continue to donate to the GOP. Now, is it really appropriate to call this a dumb action? It depends on your vantage point. If we were a nation that put citizens first, it would be counter to that goal. Citizens suffer from illness-causing pollution and higher energy rates. So yes, dumb. But in a nation that puts moneyed interests first, it's smart for those interests. Fossil fuel industry CEOs donate large amounts of money to Trump and the GOP and reap the benefits of policies directed solely to their profit, not policies good for the nation. The coal for the J.H. Campbell plant comes from the Powder River Basin in Wyoming, specifically from the Black Thunder mine owned by Arch Resources Incorporated, and from the North Antelope Rochelle mine owned by Peabody Energy Corporation. Their coal is transported over 1,000 miles from Wyoming to the plant in Michigan by rail. Both Arch Resources and Peabody Energy contribute significant sums to the Republican Party. It's not complicated. It's a transaction. The mine owners pay the GOP, and the leader of the GOP, President Donald J. Trump, makes certain the owners make back their investment. Now, what gives us away as having nothing to do with an energy emergency is that Trump has complained vigorously about China polluting the Earth's atmosphere with China's numerous coal-fired power plants. But at the same time, he wants more coal-fired power plants here in the U.S.? Does that make sense? Maybe he just wants patriotic U.S.-produced pollution here at home. This is just one example. Other generating plants slated to cease operation are forced to remain open. The cost to ratepayers will be in the millions. These zombie plants include the Craig Generating Station in Colorado, 2 coal-fired power plants in Indiana, a coal-fired plant in Ohio, and a power plant in Pennsylvania that is oil-fired, all ordered to remain operating by Secretary of Energy Chris Wright, a longtime executive in the fossil fuel industry. It's not complicated. You, the electricity ratepayer, the small business, and all air-breathing Americans, I don't know, maybe there are some anaerobic Americans, are hosed. Some other thoughts. A 1 gigawatt utility scale solar power plant using today's modern layouts and efficient panels would require 3,600 to 5,000 acres. Now, the total footprint for a coal-fired plant, that is plant plus mine plus ash ponds plus rail lines plus other infrastructure, is 10,000 to 50,000 acres. A new 1 gigawatt coal plant would cost about $3 billion and take 4 to 7 years to build. A 1 gigawatt solar plant would cost $0.9 to $1.3 billion. Build time ranges from 6 months to 2 years. Okay, Dumb is moving so fast that I felt compelled to create this emergency addendum to episode 1, so I'm doing a quick video from the science cave. Yes, I did escape the rain of beautiful, clean coal with some bruising, damage to my cornea, and incipient black lung. Some key extra points. Bizarrely, Trump ordered the Pentagon to secure long-term power purchase agreements with coal plants for military installations. I'm not too worried that this will save coal. Coal is a shambling zombie kept stumbling along by legacy investors. Ultimately, economics will kill coal. Burning coal is by far the most expensive way to generate electricity, but it shows that coal executives who support the GOP with donations are getting their money's worth. They can squeeze a few more dollars out of this antique method of power generation. The complexities of actually implementing such an order and the unfavorable economics of it will asphyxiate it. Renewable energy is growing globally, even in our own backward-focused nation. Economics will kill coal and oil. For example, note that no oil company bid on the January 2025 Arctic National Wildlife Refuge oil lease. No company. None. Zero. They rightly view that oil as a stranded asset. It would cost more to extract than the market will pay for it. As for coal, note that the Navajo Transitional Energy Company, the Native American firm that manages the Navajo Nation's coal resources, bid less than a penny per ton for 167 million tons of federal coal from the Spring Creek mine in Montana. Seems they don't value it much. There is currently a glut of coal in the global market. High production levels for coal are chasing shrinking demand. In the midst of dumb, we can be hopeful because dumb is its own assassin. More alarming is the repeal of the Environmental Protection Agency's 2009 endangerment finding. This is a legal and scientific case that confirmed that greenhouse gases are dangerous to current and future generations and must be regulated. Trump had his butt limpets at the, his, not your, EPA, negate this finding based on nothing apparently. Years of scientific data and deeply reasoned legal findings were tossed out by administrative fiat. This action directly pays back the coal and oil industries for donating heavily to Trump and the GOP. The health of citizens will be harmed. That will cost the nation. But this administration is focused on benefiting the oligarchs of dying, antiquated industries. The citizens be damned. Until next time, the antics of dumb are a target-rich environment, as military folk like to say. I'll see you all again soon.